Greetings to you, and welcome to this special broadcast here on the People's Movement. As you can see, I'm wearing my Farmer Brown hat today because today certainly warrants this Farmer Brown's hat. As you join the broadcast, please indicate whether you can see me clearly and you can also hear me clearly. This is a very, very serious moment. Extremely critical. A very telling day for the People's Progressive Party and for every political agent, even from those in the APNU-AFC coalition, who are quiet and would have been quiet about this U.S. Treasury Department sanctioning of Azuddin Mohammed, his father, Shell Mohammed as he's called, and Mae-Thomas, a government official, one who was working in the Ministry of Home Affairs. And after she came from the US, I think she went to China, they took her phones, remember that? They confiscated her telephone. They questioned her extensively. I was told, she can say whether it's true, that they even took her luggage and subjected her to intense interrogation. Robeson Ben and others that have said that this lady was given, they are aware of her traveling. Remember, Alia still said that she was traveling to China for some exchange program and stuff. Well, the exchange has come now. Indicate whether you can hear me, you can see me clearly, please. This broadcast, by the way, is streaming live on YouTube as well, because I've noticed that some people do not use Facebook. Hence, I will stream it directly to YouTube. As you join, let me know whether you can hear me clearly and you can also see clearly so that we can have this wonderful conversation. Thank you, Bina, for the feedback. Wonderful conversation today in my Farmer Brown's hat. I have said to this nation and to those who live overseas, that's what many Guyanese know, a big word called the diaspora, which are people from Guyana who scattered across various nations of the world. I have said to you that, thank you, I've said to you that this country, Guyana, South America, I said it for years, I've been saying it repeatedly, that in the higher tier, at the higher level, at the upper tier of our social strata of society, we are most corrupt. Have I not said that repeatedly? That corruption isn't found at a lower scale in Guyana in any way that can be compared to those who are the wealthy in business and those who have political or governmental or administrative power. I told you this for years, that this country is extremely corrupt, especially since the PPP came into office. APNU-AFC, they were corrupt, but their corruption was about 3 million, 2 million, little tidbits here and there. Somebody gives some friends some contract, and they didn't have sense to steal in any way. In any way that could be compared to the PPP civic. Well, there's nothing civic about you. There's nothing civic about you. But from August 2nd onward, I've been announcing to the nation from 2020 that this society is extremely corrupt. Farmer Brown is present because whenever I read this out, remember, we speak to systems, and I'm here today to speak to the system in this country that fuels it and why it is so corrupt. I'll also speak to the system of the USA. I am not a fan of the USA. By no means will I ever be a fan of them, because they are, for me, one of the greatest band of terrorists the world has ever known. Their history is rife with terrorism. What they did to Native Indians, it is terrorist in its nature. So I don't have any sentiment that's pleasant when it comes to how you think about the political strategies and the geopolitics. They believe in regime change. It would get people out of power and put people in all the kind of stuff. I don't, and you can't touch their politics, but they could put their nose in everybody else's business. However, what I know for sure is, and we're speaking to systems here, once you begin to get involved with money, and I said this, I'm just reminding some of y'all at the onset of this broadcast. I said it in previous broadcasts, that one thing the US does, because I've been there, one thing they do is, even with their own people, they track money. That's what they're about. Once they notice you're in a certain bracket, economically, financially, they will have an eye on you from any part of the world. That is how they are. Worst, if they believe that you are able to finance or do business with anyone who's considered to be their enemy, they will be paying very careful attention to you. I said it, that you can't be in a particular jag. I know you're having diarrhea, maybe you may be having diarrhea all day and all night. Because you need to know, as well as you do right now, that once you get a particular bracket in society in the US, they don't care where you are in this world. Especially if you have any linkage to the US, if you have any connection to the US or with the US, anybody in the US. Oh, do you remember the cash jet pilot where Donald Ramatara would have sat on his plane and flown? And they stopped the guy in Puerto Rico, I think it was, 250,000 or more US dollars on a plane. Remember that? Oh, he wasn't flying anybody from the PNC, by the way. He wasn't flying Grange anywhere. He wasn't flying Aubrey Norton. A president of this country sat on a plane that was later discovered to be smuggling money. Oh. Let's talk about systems here. That's why the Farm Brown Hat is on this morning. And if there's one thing that I'm certain about, is that political elements in this country, I told you that they want to create what is called this elite group. The elitists, the wannabe elitists, I call the PPP, the head honchos. They believe with all of their hearts that when they acquire a particular sum or attain a particular level of wealth, the whole world would have to bow at your feet. Well, you should know better. And you should have known better. So we have a situation in which Mae-Thomas, a black, I don't call her African, that's not an African for me, a black woman who worked for the PPP as a permanent secretary. She was in the Ministry of Home Affairs. Why is that important? Because Robeson Ben is in Home Affairs. Why is that important? Home Affairs, the Ministry of Home Affairs deals with national security. Somebody said they're not allowed to view. Maybe you should leave and return, Swan. Let me see something. Let me just check this out. You may have a little feedback, but let me just ensure that the broadcast is fine. Okay, so it seems to be okay here. I'm just monitoring it. Let me check the other one. Let me check YouTube to see how that's going. So YouTube is also fine. Home Affairs has to do with security issue, the police, the army, the fire service. That's a fire. Now, this woman was in the permanent secretary position at the Ministry of Home Affairs, where Robeson Ben, another black one, was put to be the minister or leader. He was positioned to be leader, the minister. We know, based on evidence, that the Mohameds got a contract to build a fire station, Homestead Avenue, while Toussaint, May was permanent secretary. The U.S., not Guyana, the U.S. did an investigation when she got there, and before she even got there, and found, according to I read the report, excerpts from it, that, hey, this woman, May, was involved in directing, manipulating, and orchestrating the Mohammeds receiving contracts and the likes. That's what they said. They even spoke to her involving the people getting gun license. And Robeson Ben would have said, and so did Ali, they're aware of her traveling when she was intercepted in the US, and she was going to China for some exchange program. Now, why did I have this? Why am I mentioning here about Dharamall being different? Some of you all know I'm going already. Once this news broke, and the U.S. Treasury Department published that they've sanctioned these people, what does sanctioning of businesses mean? That no one, of course, the big stick approach again, no one, no creature, no business, no ant, no roach, no one, let's talk about systems here again, no one in the world is allowed to do business with the Mohammeds involving U.S. transactions. No one. If you are, and mind you, even here, wherever you are, they will monitor and have been monitoring already all who receive and all who exchange in reference to businesses with the Mohammeds. That's what it speaks to. It speaks to them saying, we are going to sanction you, meaning nobody must do business with your business. And anyone who's caught doing business with the business, they are going to come under sanction as well. That's what the sanctions are about. When the Treasury Department sanctions a business, it means they're seeking to kill it in reference to its business dealings in the US and with anyone who has anything to do with the US. So if I have a US account, and I am able to do business in the US, and they find I'm doing business with the Mohammeds, they will freeze my US account immediately. I'll be unable to touch it anywhere in the world, from anywhere. Because unlike what some of y'all know, the US has got tentacles. Some of y'all, Jack didn't remember that. Or he's pretending not to know it. They like an octopus. They have tentacles all over the place. So they, with the stroke of one key, can prevent you from having any access, called freezing your assets. They will freeze it. If you have any building in the US and they find that you're doing business with the Mohammeds, they will seize your building. Now, didn't Jagdio in 2023 admit that the PPP may have, listen to his language now, he knows very well, may have gotten donations from the Mohammeds? This is while you were under investigation, by the way. That the PPP may have gotten donations. Oh, you got donations? The people, listen, if there's one thing that I know, the US prides itself in investigations. They love it. They feel as if they're an intelligence guru. So they believe in intelligent. Why are people saying they're not allowed to view my broadcast? I don't understand what's going on here. It's live and it's fine. Whoever is not allowed to view somebody, please ask them to leave and return. I don't know what's happening, but I will deliver this because it's streaming and I'm fine. When Jagdio admitted that they may have received donations, but it's not anything beyond the norm. No, it's not. What I find laughable is that when this first happened, or when there was talk about May getting arrested, no, she wasn't arrested, about her phone being taken away and so on. No, we know about that. When they began to insult Hakeem Jeffries, I mean, I'm going somewhere with this with y'all. And Ali said Hakeem needs to have a history lesson. And you begin to insult the most powerful African-American politician. If you didn't know, now you know. Hakeem Jeffries is the head of the U.S. Congress, the most powerful African male politically in the U.S. You want to insult because you believe that because he's black, you forget that you're black too in the U.S. eyes. You believe that you can insult the most dominant Democrat, the most powerful Democrat, and escape with it. These men have got the means, and the U.S. is now led by the Democrats in reference to Biden being the president, Kamala Harris being vice president. These people see you exactly as you are, Irfan. You are black. You're not Indian. That's how they label you. In law enforcement, you're black. And you think that you could insult Hakeem Jeffries and get away with it? Well, you will see, as people say, you will now see how and where barley grows. So the big boy attitude has dropped. It has vanished. I have never thought the day would come when, with the click, as they say, of a finger, Irfan and Barrett could be like two little church mice. Why you didn't insult the U.S. as you did? Remember when they had a meeting with Rickford Burke in New York, and the Attorney General, another black woman for New York, you think you could insult them and get away with it? Oh, so you insulted the Attorney General for New York, one of the most powerful in reference to the judicial system in New York and in the U.S., because New York is the biggest city in the U.S. in reference to population, the most populous. You think that you could insult an Attorney General, a black woman, and you just get away with it? Again, a Democratic representative, because she's an Democrat, if you ask me. And you believe that you could just keep insulting these people? Oh yeah, let's just insult them. They're black people, so let's do what we want. And you'll get away with it. Blinken came. Bill Clinton came. And maybe you felt that upon the arrival of these people, you're safe. Well, let's see how safe you are now, Barrett and Irfan. Because in the document, in the media presentation that they made, they said, let me make it clear to you, that it is government corruption, not Mae-Thomas corruption. And Guyanese, I'm here as a member of the People's Movement, one who leads it, the one who has got the understanding that we're not a little political group somewhere sitting around. No, we are a people across the world moving the nation forward. And this requires the people again to move. Remember, so we're going somewhere now, Vice News. And the lady said, oh, what about taking bribes and taking stuff? No. Can you provide evidence? Sue Jerome, Sue. His lips got dry. His countenance changed. His eyes dipped. All signs that you are lying or you're caught. And then Irfan decided that he's going to insult Vice News again, thinking that you could just insult who you want. That there's some little wannabe journalist who thinks you come here, and because the lady was questioning his puppeteer, his puppet handler. So you are so upset now that you could insult a U.S. citizen. Keep it up, man. And you believe that when they aired that on Vice News, when it was aired for the world to see, you believe that when you insult the journalist and you fail because you can't do it, to fire Jagdeo or launch an investigation or a commission inquiry, you fail because you can't touch Jagdeo. And we know that you can't. He has enough dirt on you that you can't touch him. Oh, you believe that because you failed to do it, the US would. Well, the US has stated that they are investigating government corruption, not an individual's corruption. And I said that you are a corrupt bunch. Now the US have said through the Treasury, not the FBI, although they all connected, not the CIA, although they are connected. No, they spoke to you on a level that you understand. We deal with you from the Treasury, which means they're now dealing with paper trails for money. They're dealing with wires for money. They're dealing with binary numbers. You know what that is? Computer trails. They're dealing with electronic transactions. Y'all are gone over the cliff, over Kaitro Fall, because once the Treasury gets involved, let me tell you about this, man. Listen to Farmer Brown this morning. Once the Treasury gets, not like y'all, the puku waste of time Treasury here. Once the Treasury of the US gets involved, it means they're not looking at whether you're church boy, a good boy, decent boy, a good Hindu, a good Muslim. They are tracing your electronic transactions and any other dealing you have that involved US currency. You are done with. Because if it were the FBI, and they're coming next, by the way, once you see Chief, little boy, half able to read boy, once you know, and you know, because you are the highest office in this country. So once you know, once you're there, hopefully they'll tell you what happens to you next. Once the US Treasury cites you for being corrupt, and once they sanction your partners, you know what happened to you? The CIA has already been in Guyana. You should know that. The FBI have got people right here who may be looking just like Indian people, as they're called, East Indian, because you're from east of India. Just like you. And they could talk just like Guyanese. Well, they buy all things, they buy you, maybe man, I gotta get some contract. And they could set up a business here because there are thousands, maybe, or hundreds of US entities with businesses in Guyana because of oil and gas. And they could set up things to interact with you all the time. And there are molds in your own circle. They get in because you love money. Let's not forget to have some wanted people. Remember one of them who was living in Jerry Gavai's place? Who was called the other day? This chain is long. And when you see they hold certain people and they say sing because your freedom depends on it, and once you tell us what you need to know, we give you a new identity. You'll never be allowed to go back to Guyana, though. We'll monitor you because whenever the US gives you a new identity, you are their slave forever. Once you become an informant and you want to talk, you are a slave to them forever. They'll give you a new identity to protect you, but they watch you until you die. They watch your entire family until you die. They monitor every phone call you make, everything. So, however, you're free to just be out of jail. The chain, the links in the chain, they're catching up with you. And you're beginning to connect them now. So once they noticed that you have got 50 million US dollars in tax evasion. So in their mind, you have 50 million US dollars at your disposal in Guyana. Then you defrauded the government 50 million. May I inform Guyanese? May I inform you, please, that according to this report from the Treasury Department, it is 10 billion Guyana dollars in taxes. 10 billion. Man, listen here. 10 billion in duty taxes they avoided paying. 10 billion. Now, here's my beef with the GRE. And you have to come for me because you know how you are. Why Why did I have to hear this or read this from the U.S. Treasury Department? Why? Why would I have to read that 10,000 kilograms of gold they omitted from import and export declaration? You know what 10,000 kilograms of gold? 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds. 10,000 kilograms of gold. According to the U.S. Treasury Department, would have been omitted from import and export declarations, so they avoided paying more than 50 million US dollars in taxes, which would be 10 billion, more than 10 billion dollars. What I want GRA to tell me is, why would I have to hear this from the U.S. Treasury Department? That's what I need to know. Because y'all would half kill me for $1 million. You would slaughter the small businessmen, and I spoke of this before. But those who have got $300 million owed in taxes, they could have government position. Those who can have over $1 billion owed, no, you're good. Those who don't have $10 billion. I didn't hear GRA see them issue a statement saying that the Mohameds are now on investigation immediately, that they've moved through enforcement to seize every asset. Stacia, can you speak to that, please? Oh, you want evidence? Which one of y'all, which one of you could ever touch Shell Mohammed or Azuddin's asset? You could go into the park by where they are. I think it's Vera Park. You could ever go there where the house is, where Azuddin's house is, and seize anything? Can you go take the Lamborghini? Can you take the Ferrari? Can you take the race car? The Nissan? Can you go and take all their vehicles? Can you shut down their business as you would have done to a small little black boy or small East Indian Guyanese businessman? Can you, any one of y'all, do that? $10 billion according to the U.S. report in tax evasion. How do the U.S. get involved? How do they know? You know how they know? Because of where it went. If it goes out of Guyana, as long as the money leaves Guyana, as long as the gold leaves Guyana, that's what it's supposed to export. As long as the gold is leaving Guyana. Remember Shell did it's actually one of a documentary where Shell was talking about, that's Mohamed's Azuddin's father, about one gold bar costing $2 million US dollars. These people don't play with y'all. They already zoom in. Oh, okay. And you export this much? To where? Did it go to Saudi Arabia? Where did it go to? How do you have the U.S. telling me about the Mohammeds? How? I also said to you, Shell, when you hired a former FBI agent to investigate why you did not receive a U.S. visa and your family didn't, I told you, Shell, that this is bad news. I don't know who advises you. I told you, Mr. Mohammed, this is not good. I told you, Shell, this is the worst thing you can ever do. Because once you think that as a Guyanese, more so a black person, you're not Indian in their eyes. Once you as a black person, because you're going to investigate the U.S. Embassy, that's the major spy arm around the world. You'll investigate them as to why you and your family not getting a visa. Oh, I told you it's a bad move. Because they were investigating you way before then. And they have the power to put certain things on hold because you're dancing to their tune. So we leave you alone. But we have the information on you, though. Or they can bring it to the fore, as they did now, say, okay, then, since you want to investigate our embassy, you want to investigate the U.S., you pay some American money to investigate us, we're coming after you. And that's exactly what they've done. Mae-Thomas, May, you have a lot of answering to do. But here's my point in reference to Dharamall, and I'll return to the Mohammed situation in the US. System. Every Guyanese, I want you to see systems at work. How can you tell me that a girl who came forward to ask the Guyana police force to arrest or have an action taken against Dharamall, who according to the complaint that's published, raped and burgled this child until she bled and then said, shut the F up when she was hollering and crying, a 16-year-old, according to the reports that were circulating. He was not told by Irfan Ali, he was not told by Barajagdio that you are dismissed or sent on leave immediately. Irfan was proud to sit in our faces and tell us that Dharamall requested after a week, after 2 weeks or so, he requested that he steps down. Not that he was told immediately. But May, you're black, and you don't seem to understand that. You are gone immediately. Do you see the difference? Dharamall, so wait. Anyone who's now accused by the U.S. Treasury, in this case, because the evidence is there, they can't be fit anymore. So once U.S. put a hold on you, that's when you could react. So the life of a little Amerindian girl is not as important as money. Come here, man. You got Dharamall, who was accused, and if I tell you all the time, bring me to any court. If there was a no further action statement request made, then action had to be asked for in the first place. So she requested action in the first place. And then she said, I don't want any further action. That's Anasi Fredericks. You're telling me that Dharamall was allowed to remain a parliamentarian until we kick up and carry on, and then he decided he's going to move. But with May, the black one, she has to go immediately. And you are not racist? So what are you? What are you? What accounts for Dharamall remaining in his position for so long? Huh? And May is gone immediately. She's sent on leave. A child, a girl child, a 16-year-old girl, initially through the Guyana police forces and the public prosecution, asked for action to be taken to deal with her report of being raped. She was interviewed in a forensic environment, meaning that it was very intense. It was strategic. It met all the criteria for there to be truth being brought forth. And that girl had to sit and watch Dharamall parade himself, protected by the PPP. But May, you're black and you don't have any privilege. None. Good. I just want to ask the question of Irfan Ali and Barajagdio. I just need to know. Is Dharamall different? And why? What differentiates Mae-Thomas from Nigel Dharamall? I need to know that. Every guy needs to hear it. What makes Dharamall different from Mae-Thomas? How could it be that one who is higher in ranking, the minister, who should be held to a greater level of accountability, and the society should have greater confidence in your dealing with such people, how could he sit around and tell you when he was ready, well, I'll step away from Parliament for a bit? And Ali said he requested that he steps down. That Dharamall told Ali, not the president, not the one who's paid the president, told the chicken. The chicken told the eagle, hey, I'll step back for a bit, man. With Charanda's situation where he caused the one tell she needs a doctor F her and didn't say F. Same thing. That Charles told, the ambassador told the one who's paid to be president, yeah, I might as well come home. Because the president who's paid to be president couldn't instruct Charles to come home either. The U.S. Treasury Department is not in any way like the PPP. U.S. Department of State. I'm reading from an official website. The United States, June 11, 2024, through Matthew Miller, department spokesperson. The United States is imposing sanctions today on Nazar Mohammed, his son Azuddin Mohammed, and their company, Mohameds Enterprise, and Mae-Thomas, the former permanent secretary to the Guyana's Minister of Home Affairs. That's government. That's government. When you have a corrupt government system, then things happen, and it is justified at the government level. So when we talk about who's not getting contracts, who's getting contracts, that's at the government level. And she was a government official, according to this report. She was the former permanent secretary to the Guyana's Minister of Home Affairs and current, so in her position now, permanent secretary in the Minister of Labor. That's Joe Hamilton's permanent secretary. For their roles in public corruption, not a private arrangement, public corruption in Guyana. We are also designating two entities, Hadi's World and Team Mohameds Racing, for being owned and controlled or controlled by Mohameds Enterprise and Azuddin, respectively. Between 2019 and 2023, when was the fire station built? When did they get contract to build this, the $1 billion, I think, or $600 million fire station? Remember that? Let's see. Between 2019 and 2023, Mohameds Enterprise omitted more than 10,000 kilograms of gold from the import and export declarations and avoided paying more than $50 million US, that is, in duty taxes to the government of Guyana. They are interested in that you didn't pay the government of Guyana any money? You think US cares about what the government of Guyana gets? No. What they want to show you is that if they avoided paying $10 billion, according to this report, the money had to go somewhere, some of it at least, had to go somewhere for you to avoid paying it. Who from Customs needs to be investigated? Who from GRA needs to be investigated? Who from Ministry of Finance needs to be investigated? Come, Ashley Singh, you come and sit and talk too. To perpetuate and conceal this scheme, listen, Mohameds Enterprise engaged in extensive bribery of government officials. I know English language, unlike Irfan. Irfan is a capital, bona fide, hardcore, semi-literate person. So he doesn't understand basic English language. But according to this right here, government officials is plural, not singular. Plural. Official is one. Mae-Thomas is a singular official. That's one person. But the report states government officials. How are they getting information? They took our phones. Remember that? And the others who, including a famous cricketer who got held, and they took his devices. The police officers who got held, and they took their devices and say, you are in our territory now. You can't tell me what you wouldn't want to do. Give me the phone. And by the way, you can't have password protection on phones where the US Department is concerned. So stop. You don't waste time. Don't waste time. Because any service provider, be it media platform, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, anything, they, as long as the department says, we are investigating this person, give us this information, they'll open the phone. So get a grip of yourself. systems of the world are designed to imprison you or free you while you're still imprisoned. Because it's what they do to people. They make you walk around, they feel free, but they have control of you at all times. When you land at the airport in the US, you become one who is under the authority of the US. They do what they want to do with you. But when your money start dancing, you're hand again if you could fly over the place and do what you want. So government officials were bribed extensively, according to this report. This activity served to enrich the corrupt actors, plural, involved, undermine Guyanese institutions, and deprive the people of Guyana of important revenues. $10 billion, Guyana dollars. That's more than our budget was a few years ago. We used to have a $3 billion budget and it's called big. And one man, according to this report, could afford to evade 50+ billion. And by the way, what it means is that they did declare some of it. So if some gold import and export are declared, then what is the sum total? What is it? Also sanctioned today, let me come to you, May. Mae-Thomas misused her position as permanent secretary. Now tell me the code for hurting your feelings, May, and y'all. All y'all tell me the code because I call the name on this broadcast and say that I've slandered you. Because this is, I'm reading here a report. Mae-Thomas misused her position as permanent secretary. To the Guyana Minister of Home Affairs, that's Robeson Ben, your name calling here. From October 2020 to August 2023, to offer benefits to Mohameds Enterprise and Azzuddin in exchange for cash payments and high-valued gifts. I read in, let me talk to Guyanese for y'all. I read in what they say. How would they know that she got cash payments? They took her phone. They took your phone, May, and on that phone they found, Ali said that you went to China for exchange program. Remember, Robson said, of course, I'm aware of her traveling. Good. They took your phone, and when they found your phone, they would have found in that phone messages that spoke to your receiving money from these people and gifts from these people. And you aren't in jail yet? How you sent on leave? You were supposed to be dealing with my money, with the money of Guyanese, including teachers, doctors, nurses, and others. How we got teachers longing for a better pay rate, longing to live healthily, longing for a better way of life. And y'all, according to this report here, you government officials were benefiting and then got the gall to tell teachers they don't deserve a better pay. All of Guyana should be shut down. I tell you that. All of this country should be shut down. The US give y'all a chance, Barrett and all y'all, because they know you. And they give you a chance to expose yourself because they know you. Teachers are pleading for a better way of life. On the road, now they're home. And Jagyo is threatening these people. We will take you to, we have appealed the case. This creature has got the mind to say he's appealing Justice Kissoon's ruling that the teachers have the right to strike, you have to pay them. Why? Because they asked to talk to you and you refuse to talk to them. So that's not a normal strike. And you, instead of saying we're going to pay the teachers, because look how much money y'all got dancing around the place here from an individual. If you sue the Mohameds and say they have to pay this money here, as you've discovered, teachers could get paid. For years, you could pay teachers over $300,000 each. I comment to you in a moment, Barrett, about your stupid, idiotic, nonsensical, moronic statement, but you could $700,000 per child in this country could go to private school. If you give him $300,000, it could work. You make me start talking fast. This is when I really get mad with you all. You got the mind to say that instead of paying teachers now, You rather give each child $300,000 to go private school? That's how stupid and dense you be. You can't even run a cake shop. You can't even run a Polari stand. I told you all that. You people are impressed because they see roads being done and they can't last for 2 weeks. They can't last for 2 weeks. You are incapable of running anything called a business in this country. If there is a ratio of 25 or 30 students per teacher in this country, you dumb bat, you can't see that it makes more sense to pay the one teacher more than to give 30 parents. By the way, you greedy, lucky dogs of parents, some of y'all, I call you what I want to call you. You can't do me anything. Who agree with this foolishness? Let me make it clear to you. The money will go to pay the school, and you can't do that. It won't come to you. And by the way, if that ever happens, you'll see sheriff private schools going up all across this country. Sheriff private schools be all over this nation. It makes sense to you to pay for 10 children $3 million. 20 children, because you don't know math too well, $6 million. 30 children, how much are they going to be? Oh, so it makes sense to you, Barrett, to pay $9 million to a private school when a teacher in this country earns less than 3 or 2 million. The average teacher, we're talking about basic training teacher, college teacher here, earns less than 3 or $2.5 million a whole year. You dogs would rather give, according to your statement, a private school for one class, $9 million. Just for one class with 30 children. You would rather give them every term, by the way, because my children were in private school. You prefer to give $9 million, at least $9 million per class to a private school. If you have 10 classes, that's $90 million. You prefer to take our money and give it to them rather than give a teacher in this country $4 million. Well, it means you could afford it. You dumb puppy. You don't understand basic reasoning. It means that once you say that, well, you might as well give the private schools the money, it means you have it. Once you say that you would rather give it to the private school, it means you have it. Dummy. $10 billion Guyana dollars the US said you can't account for because it was evaded in terms of taxation. And you all got teachers on the road. You have teachers at home. And you're disrespecting them and say you prefer to go to court and fight because most of them are black. That's the problem. Most of the teachers in the country are African descendants. That is the problem. That's the problem. And this country is quiet. Georgetown is quiet because Norton's interest is in whether he's going to be the leader of the PNC. Ford, would I be PNC's leader? Amanza, would I be PNC? So y'all can't arrange yet to bring PNC people out on the road because y'all may have gotten, according to James, you APNU got donations from Mohameds too. That's what my friend Bond said. And I know that he's deep enough in the PNC to know. So you're taking the court if it's a lie. But if James said the Mohameds give PNC money too, or APNU money too, y'all are no different. So to Mr. Teddy 82, let me read a comment here. Or let me pin this comment to the screen. Let me pin this comment and talk to you, but this comment right here. I don't think you understand what was said. So he's want to explain Barter said. They're not spending anything. Guyanese are spending it, not them. They're spending $700,000 per child to upkeep the public school system. Look at this. This is what this person is saying. So he made it an option to give the parents the money and they decide. Never. Because, mister, let me just pin this comment here. Let me make it clear and hope you'll understand. The fact that the Mr. Teddy 82, the fact that Jagdeo said that we might as well give the money to parents, it means they have it. And if you give the money to parents, it's for what purpose? To go to a private school. That's what he said. If they inject that money into private school, you have more students than you do teachers, mister. This is basic common sense. You have more students than you have teachers. I don't care how you try to fix it. There are more students. That's global. You always have more students than you do teachers. Even in university level, you have more students than you do lecturers. So the fact that he could say that he'd be forced to give the money per child for them to go to private school, what does that tell you? Is it not less to pay the teachers? No. Let me tell you what Jagdeo's reasoning is. We will take away all the money from the public school system and we'll give it to parents so they can go. So in essence, we'll shut down public schools. So you don't have to pay for any child in public school. Is that his reasoning? Because at the end of the day, you can't shut down public school. No, what he's saying is they have no intention of adding to the teachers' lives. They intend to add anything to it. So we leave it at $700,000, and I want to know what child in this country, at least not mine, what do the children in this country benefit from $700,000 a year? What? Do you see how the schools look in this country? Because the cost per child has to include the environment. So you tell us, you tell all of us in this broadcast, what do our children benefit from this $700,000 a year? And by the way, if you don't know, the cost includes all of education, includes the prayer has to travel and have a ball. So don't come with that. Education for our children is a holistic pie. So when they budget for education, if you didn't know, it includes everybody, not the little children here. Disrespect. I told you they're dogs, and I will not call them anything as they are dogs. If you could look at a child and say, yeah, of course you're concerned about learning about the children being home, but we're finding this matter in court. You are fighting teachers. You are fighting the people Priya said are so important to the nation. You fighting the people who Priya said, oh yes, they're important to us. They've done so well, and look at how the grades we're getting. You're fighting them to ensure that they pay a cut. So if the judge rules, if the appellate court rules any other way, then you know what happens to you? You have June salary, May salary, February salary, March salary. So at least 4 months salary. And if they strike for 8 months, Jagger said we want to be able to cut your pay. Thousands of teachers across this country want to ensure they can't live and eat food tomorrow if he gets his way. Those dogs are leading our country. And Guyana mustn't have change. Guyana must not have change. You got one family here who's accused of having $10 billion in tax evasion. That's the accusation. Business. You have a minister, a permanent secretary involved in having officials, which is a whole net of them, getting money through her interaction with these people. And teachers and nurses, doctors, police officers. You got policemen having to stand in the road and ask for a little small piece here and there. You dogs! And you don't understand the need for a different Guyana? Huh? This country has to be. This country has to be different. They don't care. You know why? Because Priya Manichan never stood in a classroom to teach anybody. Priya, never. 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 A police stole Anthony's phone. And in of many instances, these men and women in the Guyana Police Service, I don't call them force, these people are suffering because of the PPP and PNC. Y'all never saw the need and do not see the need to take care of these officers. Do you know that in Suriname, police don't take bribe? The worst thing they ever tried to do in Suriname is bribe a police officer. Because they paid so well, they don't need your money. US likewise, they paid highly. You dogs! Y'all don't care about anybody. And that's why I get so upset with you police who would fight your own people to please massa. Don't do it. Let me continue to read. So they said Mae-Thomas between October 2020 and 2023, she used her office. She used her office and she got cash payments and high value gifts. She used the office and got benefits. Today's actions, I continue to read a quote. Today's action support the US strategy on countering corruption, which identifies the fight against corruption as a national security priority. The United States is committed to exposing corruption and promoting accountability for corrupt acts worldwide. We will continue to use the tools at our disposal to protect our financial system from abuse by corrupt actors. What happened to Hunter Biden? Who's Joe Biden's son? Did you expose him? What happened to what's his name? McCain and them, who had interest. Was it McCain? A Republican. They had interest, economic benefits from the war in Afghanistan and stuff like that. What happened to them? Were they sanctioned? That's why I tell you the hypocrisy of the US I don't play with. I don't play with the hypocrisy. However, this right here concerns me as a Guyanese. The US tell me that they want to expose corruption is laughable because the most corrupt society is the US. But I am talking about this here because this involves me. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, these people have invested in prisons in the US. And the main population of prison are black people. Hence, they had 3 strikes ruling in California and stuff to fill the prison that they invested in. So don't talk to me, no corruption here. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton made a fortune from imprisoning black people. So the US is the most hypocritical I know. But this here, regarding a government official and other officials, concern me. Mae-Thomas should be in jail. You better start talking. And if I know the US, the only way that Mae was able to leave there and go anywhere called China, where it was told, I was told, that they took even her luggage. She wasn't allowed to leave with anything. The only way that she's allowed to leave the US and not go to jail in the US is if she began to call names. Oh, yeah. Get your pen out. That's what you do. Come right. Who? Write the names. Right. Start writing names. Right. Barrett. Is Barrett involved? Is Afrin involved? They don't care about president and Barrett and the vice president. They don't care about anybody's rank. Once you see they tell you start calling them, you better start calling names or you go to jail. So she had to start calling names because they have the phone. So you can't tell the people that when if they see a message that says, come and collect $3 million tomorrow, that is not you. Or collect $3 million for this one and pass it to that one. And you are not in jail. Huh? I demand that the Guyana Revenue Authority publish for us and make us aware of an investigation into this starting now. The weaklings, the chickens, the hens and the frogs decided, oh, we're going to ask US, we're going to cooperate with the US. Oh, you want to cooperate? That's what you're finding them saying. They're going to cooperate with the US and try to get information and seek to work with them. No, you know what, you next. So don't try to cooperate with anybody. You are next. Because there was a statement issued that the government of Guyana, as they call themselves, they're prepared to work with the US in this regard. Oh, now you want to work? When the houses in Mocha were being bulldozed, were being knocked down, when people were being made to live in squalor after you all knocked down their houses, you want to be prepared to work with anybody. Huh? Oh, now you want to work with the US? When the most powerful Democrat is Hakeem Jeffries, you don't want to work with? You don't want to work with them? When Hakeem could pick up a phone and make one phone call to certain places and y'all are on investigation immediately? Now you want to work with them? When Congressman Jackson came here, you all invite him, think he'd be on your side. When Congressman Jackson came here and he went back with a report, this confirmed, because he sat in certain circles and heard, oh, when the team came, including government officials from the US, and remember when they came to Linden, when they were having the fact-finding mission to find out about discrimination, you all sent your little bats and rats to the town council here, and Gaspar and all them began to shout and carry on, and people said, oh, so this is how the PPP functions are. They paid attention to all that you're doing. Now you're prepared. You refuse to meet the people. You refuse to engage the team when they came last year to investigate and have some talk in reference to what's happening to the African community here. You didn't want to talk to them. Oh, now you want to talk to the US? Now you want to have discussions with the US? But how did you forget that you told the people they don't have to have the DA here? The Drug Enforcement Agency doesn't need to be here? Or you think they forgot about you, huh? Oh, you felt that when Roger Khan was there and he began to talk and words, the guy, Merkel, whatever his name is, not Roger Khan, the other one, who was the US guy, who was talking about who gets paid and who didn't get paid and who bought remember Ramsamy, the computer? You think people forget about y'all? If there's one thing the US doesn't do is forget what the enemies have done. Just remember that. And once you become an enemy of the US, you are never friends. Never. Don't care how they treat you afterwards. They will put you in power to get what they want. As in this case, they will put you all in there because they know you. Let me tell you, man. Look at Farmer Brown hat here. The system is to position you to expose yourself. That's what they did to y'all. They put you in here because they know you well enough. And they know that you can't help but expose your corruption. And the dagger in your casket, Jagdio, the nail in your coffin, is when Vice News came here and you began to insult the people and say that the girl is a wannabe journalist and she nobody, she just set up. Okay. Then you wanted people to call names. You wanted whoever reported you out to the UN, they must give us the names. Boy, you done with. You are toast. You are history. What I will do is I will fold my arms and I will watch what will become of you all. Because the other thing they have to pay attention to is if you only, like Kadaki, those people, if you only touch certain social media personalities, you call them, they also come down on you more than you can even think about it. Because they now know that you are seeking to kill those who speak about you. Oh, it gets worse for y'all. You're now in a real trap. Because if you believe that you're going to touch anybody who speaks against y'all, even that they're monitoring. How do you deal with those who oppose you? This is not a good time to be in the PPP. Just know that. This is a bad time for you all. You might as well cross and go somewhere in the bush somewhere rather than being in the PPP. This is not a good time for you because the eyes are on you and they are in your circles interacting with you. I know that. Infiltration is the key to the U.S.'s success in investigations. They are on the ground interacting with you all. They're living in the plush neighborhoods. They're living in places whereby they know you're impressed by wealth. So they would finance through the CIA. They'll have an agent here living a lavish lifestyle. And he's Indian just like you all. And you'd swear that he's one of you. And he'd be having contracts and all that. And he'd be living the life and fattening you all. And when they're ready to drop the hammer on you all, you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to tell you that we have now got evidence that you took money. Here's the video footage of your receiving money from this person. And that was an FBI agent or CIA agent in Guyana. You're about to be crushed. See? Look. See what's happening here? That's what they're doing to Guyanese people. You are finished. When they finish with y'all, I'll be a happy camper. And all you Apnu FC ones who took any money from these people, you too are on the watch list. So don't feel all scared. That's what I can't talk. Whoever they bottle your hands with to make you feel good, you're on the watch list too. I expect GRA. I expect GRA, the Guyana Revenue Authority, to deal with this now. Because if you have such a report from the Treasury, this is nothing to play with. Because the Treasury isn't like Guyana who just hop around the place, play around. They've got enormous means of having information traced and tracked. And they know exactly what they're saying. So you all might as well come fast and tell it to us, the people. GRA, we expect you to act. And to act swiftly for us to get to the bottom of this. Let's see what you will do. The ball is in your court. Thank you. Share the broadcast. Let it reach Barrett and all them because I want them to see what the end is going to be with these people here because they are onto you. They've already got you. They're not onto you anymore. They have got you. They have got you. So you all could talk all you want. They have you exactly where they want to have you now, and you can't get out of it. They don't talk before they have hardcore information to work with. That's the Treasury Department. They don't play with you. So you don't have to catch jet pilot. They don't play with y'all. Once they're ready for you, it means they have enough information, then they speak publicly. So they have it all now. You are done with. Let's see what you're going to do.